Good Smile, a wonderful company who has blessed us with many a figure. Nendoroid, a brand that I don't think needs any introduction. If you don't know what a Nendoroid is, I don't know why you're here. Regardless of that, these chibi figures have captivated plenty of us, so it would make perfect sense for them to make a line of Persona Nendoroid. So that is exactly what we are going to take a look at today. Nendoroid number 1044, Makoto Niijima, the Phantom Thief version from Persona 5 the animation. I'm not a big fan of the Persona 5 anime, but I did play a lot of Persona 5 Royal, and these are all the same characters, so it really doesn't make a big difference. They made a wonderful set of figures of our favorite band of rebellious teenagers. That being said, these figures do demand quite a high cost. Makoto here goes for anywhere between $200 and $300 on eBay in the United States. And these figures were originally only $40 or $50 a piece, so that is some pretty crazy markup. But of course, all good things come in excess, and that is the only way that we know how to operate around here in the Kingdom, so I had to get this wonderful little lady to see if she's worth it. But with that in mind, will this pint-sized queen steal my heart? Or will I be left feeling emptier in my wallet, and even further, in my soul? Now this doesn't make much sense to me, but if you can see there's a little piece of tape on the back panel of the inside of the box, which makes no sense because I purchased this new and I don't see why that would be there. Now she does come with this pamphlet of instructions, which does show how to swap some of her accessories, and of course all that is included in this package. She also comes with a stand and an acrylic holding stand as well. And here's the figure and all of its accessories in one blister. As far as look and feel, I will say this is really cute. I think the hair looks really good, which is important of course. The eyes are pretty much the right color, and they're a decent shape, but chibi-fied, I just don't know how well Makoto works. But we'll get into that later. I think the first impression is yes, this thing is cute. And of course there are some stylistic choices made to make these things work as chibis, so even Joker looks kind of weird for it being Joker, so I fully accept that, and I'm not going to judge this too harshly based on that. Hilariously, they gave her a little Nendoroid booty, which I think that might be a first for me, so yeah. But let's start with articulation, because this is actually the first posable Makoto that I've ever handled. Her head, like any Nendoroid, is going to be on a hinged peg joint, which will allow her head to go up and down, but not a ton. That's because she has a little bit of bulk in the front and back, thanks to her scarf, so it also swivels side to side. Her arms are on simple, very simple peg joints. Now, these will only allow you to go up and down, but that's fine. At first I was afraid, I was petrified that her hands would not have moved properly because they were kind of stuck, having just gotten her out of the box, but they do move, and she comes with several hands, so, you know, that would make sense for them to actually be able to swivel. Now, due to her design, I would imagine they did not put a waist joint, which I guess is fine. You're not going to be posing this thing too crazily, I guess. It is just a Nendoroid, so. Her legs, interestingly, are on ball joints? It's hard to tell, but if you look in that seam there, you can actually see, yeah, she does have a ball joint there, which this cutout here is very tight, so I'd be careful because you could scratch her. And you thought it stopped there, but no, her scarf is on a peg joint and can go side to side on a swivel. Overall, this is about what I expect from a Nendoroid. And she is 3 3/4 inches tall, just short of 4, and also just short of 10 centimeters. Though I will say that she feels quite a bit smaller than other Nendoroids. I don't know if that's just me and I haven't dealt with one of these in a while, but she feels tiny. But I will say that just kind of adds to the adorableness. It's like our own little pocket-sized pet Makoto, which I should probably stop indulging in those thoughts right now. Now then, if accuracy was truly your gripe, you can change this a little bit to make it a little better. We're just going to remove her hair from the top of her head. She's looking a bit more like Haru now with that forehead, but we're going to fix that by attaching a new hair accessory. And like I said, if accuracy was the issue, this mask does make her look quite a bit more like her Phantom Thief Queen form. The eyes are a little bit out of whack, but I don't think egregiously so. If you put her on a shelf and look at her from afar, she's going to look just fine. One issue I already see arising is the fact that when you plug her base into her back, you have to choose to pose her scarf to either one side or the other, because obviously that will be blocked by this peg joint actually going into her back. It's not the biggest problem because it does make the scarf look cooler when it's billowed out to the side, but it is a little bit of an annoyance. And there's really nothing to talk about in regards to the base. We've seen this a million times, and it works perfectly fine with a 3-hinged joint on the actual stand itself, and a bunch of peg holes inside of here to put that wherever you want. And as the box states, cute to look at, fun to play with, and great to collect. Nendoroids. Yes, I concur. But fun to play with would imply that she's more than meant to just stand on her own in a static position. Just like the many Nendoroids before and after her release, she comes with plenty of accessories so that you can pose her in all sorts of fun and interesting ways. Some of them take the form of simple quality of life improvements like this bent arm that will allow her to do a little bit more than just stand with her hands at her side. But she even comes with some squatty potty legs, which I don't really get the idea for, though they will allow her to stand in a bit more battle-ready position, more akin to the way that she stands when she actually fights. As you saw in Articulation, her arms come off with just a very simple bit of force, and you remove that peg joint right from the hole. Another arm will attach so simply that even non-members of the Kingdom could probably do it. And look at that! She's already so much more fun with that additional arm. Yeah! Even better though, with these bent elbow arms attached, she actually gains an additional piece of articulation where this peg will allow it to swing in and out. So that's nice to have a little bit more ability to pose her. But a really cute accessory would actually come in the form of one of her detachable hands. And again, this is as simple as just pulling it off. But let me additionally remove this hair piece as well. And as you can see now, she's actually holding her Phantom Thief mask in her hand. Albeit a bit sized down, this does work, I think, pretty well. They've done this with a few different figures that have masks, and I actually really like it whenever they do. Though I will say it's a bit disappointing to see that it just has drawn-on holes for the eyes, whereas normally those would be punched out. But I guess at this size, beggars can't be choosers. And you know, we already changed her hair, but we haven't changed her faceplate, and she does come with multiple faceplates. Just like before, all we have to do is remove her hair first, and then off comes the faceplate. Now we can plug in that nightmare and make her a little bit different in expression. And this is actually really, really cute. I love this smile. This is my favorite faceplate. This makes her look more like Makoto to me for some reason. I don't know, it maybe doesn't even make her look more like Makoto, but it's just so darn cute that I associate it with Makoto, and I love it. Seriously, something so simple and wholesome as this is enough to make me really start coming around for this figure, and I'm finding it more charming as I continue to play with it. And that's not as if to say that there's anything wrong with her neutral expression. It might be a bit more thematically correct, to be completely honest, but either way, the smile is just so dang precious. Oh, and yeah, I busted out the Nendoroid easel on this. And the final faceplate is this frustrated and angry one. And I know I said I really liked the smile, but this one is actually perfect for Makoto, and I love it. That angry little cute rage is just so fitting for someone like her. And I should also mention that all of her faceplates are of course compatible with her other hair plate that allows her to have her mask on, so ultimately that's 6 different looks for her head alone. But now that she's so combat ready, surely she'll have a few weapons to use, right? But right you are, my friend, because I didn't coincidentally have those bent elbow arms on her for no reason. That's so that she can hold 2 accessories at once. But what could it be? If you know Makoto well enough, you know that in battle, her weapon of choice is a pair of spiked knuckles. These things are pretty damn menacing, but in Nendoroid form, they're really adorable. And these things just slot right into her hands because, well, they're just simple little pegs. And while this is, of course, adorable and terribly intimidating, yes, don't worry, Makoto, we're so scared, this is a bit unnatural because, well, that's not a fighting stance, so let's do something about those legs. And unfortunately, I'm going to mark this as a major failure on Good Smile's part because in this entire packet of instructions, they don't instruct you on how to swap out her legs. Though, if you do some translating, it will tell you that on this piece here, those little pegs that are inside of her legs are actually anti-shrinkage pegs. I mean, I guess that's cool. It's just keeping the ball joint from sealing up, which I guess is smart enough. But this literally just means that we have to rip off her legs, and I'm really not comfortable with that. But hey, look, I break my figures so you don't have to. So, I'm gonna give you a quick tip here. You just take the leg, and you start to spread it outward. Continually spread that outward until finally you'll actually just have a little pop and it will come right off. You could use heat, but heating the entire unit will then just make these pieces in here potentially morph when you're trying to pull off the leg. So it's better to kind of get that cap to properly pop off. And it's really hard to explain, but just do what I said. And if you break it, I'm not responsible either way. And when you're reattaching her legs, just make sure that you line up this piece here with the rest of her suit so that the black is actually properly tracing that shape. And really, there's no good way to figure this one out. You just kind of have to pop it back on. That went on really easily though, so if you just give it a little bit of force, make sure you hold it at the meatiest part of her thigh. Damn, imagine that. Okay, and you can just call me a complete simp because this is so damn cute. I really love this figure now. This option is so adorable. I don't know what it is, but look at those little squatty potty legs of hers. This is actually really well done. It was really easy to pull off, and I will probably keep her like this because I like her most with her knuckles, so this is hilarious. Slowly but surely, Miss Niijima, you are winning me over. Again. So as dramatic as this looks, obviously enough, Makoto came with the straight arms as well, and I already mentioned that those hands are swappable. So there's one last thing to show you. Let's pop on this hand. And as fun as it would be to have her pointing at people like a wrestler, this is actually made for one last accessory. Now if that ain't the cutest little big iron I ever did see, I couldn't tell you what was. Yeah, her 6-shooter, her magnum, her revolver, whatever you want to call it, you can pop that right into this new hand. And this is thin plastic, so be careful here. It plugs in pretty easily to her hand, but I've got to say, for such a small accessory, this is massive. This is such a cool little piece, and it looks so good in hand. I'm not the most fond of her holding the gun. I don't really care that much. I like the knuckles more, but this is actually really cute, and I could see this being a fun way to pose it just as well. All around, this thing is just hitting every mark for me. The accessories are fun, the figure looks great, and it was really easy to mess with. So that's pretty much it, right? Hold up.
Persona!
Yeah. She comes with this acrylic piece of, well, you can actually see Johanna in the background, but this is the cut-in for when she does a spell. You can even see the HUD right here as well. It actually shows her HP and MP, which is really funny. And at the top, the spell name, of course, is Mahafure. This was not necessary, but I'm glad they did it. You can put her behind there and take fun little pictures. And as you can see, there's actually a weird sort of film on it. This is just one of those protective pieces. You can actually remove that and this will look way better. And it even comes with this little piece that will actually pinch and hold the acrylic, and not too tightly to the point where it'll actually put any splinters or anything in it. This is really well done, and it's the right height for you to just put her on her base behind it and have her peeking through. Not necessary, but honestly, I can't even be mad. It's just a fun little accessory to add in. Really, what else can I say? It's a fairly simple Nendoroid, to be completely honest. But that being said, I held it to a higher standard when first opening this thing. I was already a bit bitter in the beginning, saying it doesn't really look that much like her. But still, I guess what you're supposed to get out of a Nendoroid actually started to happen for me. I have a ton of Nendoroids, and I've had a ton of them for as long as I can remember. It's not very often that I sit here and start grinning as I'm messing with the accessories and posing one of these things. This is the kind of joy that one of these figures is meant to inspire in collectors. I've seen people buy Nendoroids and take so many photos of them, put them in those little keychain things on their bag, take them other places with them. It's wild how much people love Nendoroids, and I think this one really made me feel that level of attachment to one of these things. This figure inspired a level of joy in me because it's so well done, and it's such a great nod to the fans. Sculpt and painting on this is superb. There's a decent amount of shading, there's great color separation in all of her different parts, and honestly, I couldn't ask for much more. Her posability is perfectly fine for her form factor, and the additional accessories only make this thing a further treasure trove of fun. I thought Makoto was going to steal my heart, but I feel like the one who really made out here in the end, because this figure is spectacular. So I'm going to give the Makoto Niijima from Persona 5 the animation, not from the game, a solid 10 out of 10. This is the first Makoto figure to feel perfect for me, and I am incredibly surprised by this. I'd actually really like to see an alternate body for her to put her in the Shujin Academy uniform. That would be really cute, but it's been so long that I don't think they're going to make that. But do you guys think this figure was awesome too? Why don't you like the video if you thought this was a good review, or if you just enjoyed hearing me simp over this figure. Join the Discord if you want to come chat about Makoto or whatever other weeaboo goodness you want to bring to the table. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and use my Hobby Link Japan link to buy some figures and get me a little bit of commission while you pay no extra. Obviously, it's Makoto May, so make sure to watch the rest of the videos I've put out for this lovely lady this month. Why don't you click the one on screen? Even if you've already seen it, it helps out to click that. This little lady had a 6-shooter full of love, and she hit me with every shot. So stay out of her sights, because she's mine. But thank you so much for watching, have an amazing day, and keep on collecting.